What's up, YouTubers? This is vi3t here with you for round 2 in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Overdose tournament number 4, where I was playing Spellbooks. In round 2 I ended up playing against Windup. They had a tough open, and my opponent had Shark, Windup Factory, Chain, and a set. And I actually won the was it paper rock scissors, so the RPS I went first, and I opened up with Temperance and a tower. So right now I hit the record button a little too late, but as you can see, my High Priestess was targeted by Chain. I chained Spellbook of Wisdom to go against the traps, took out their factory because Windups right now the only way for them to win in the long run is to have a factory out. But managed to normal summon Spellbook Magician Prophecy, grab a power, and I did double power on my High Priestess with Spellbook of the Master in order to get a double search. So this put me in a great position, especially with the Spellbook of Fate in my hand. And I have a Battle Fader just in case my field is cleared. I can save my life points and come back just in case. So yeah, I'm in a great position, and I did 3,500 life points total to my opponent, so they're down to 4,500, and I'm sitting at a good 8,000. Although the tough thing here is that the chain is still on my High Priestess, so once the turn ends and Spellbook Wisdom wears off, my High Priestess its effect will be negated by Chain once again. My opponent normal summons a Windup Rat, special summons Shark from grave, goes into a level 3. Oh, okay, and the level 3 that I go into is Leviathan, so Leviathan can run over my High Priestess and can destroy my Spellbook of Magician of Prophecy. I decide not to use Spellbook of Fate to get an extra search because I felt I didn't need it, but in retrospect maybe I should have gone into that. And Tower nets me the extra draw into Justice of Prophecy, so my High Priestess right now cannot use its effect. Well, it can use its effect and I can pay the cost, but I won't be able to blow anything up with it. So that's why I elect to special summon Temperance of Prophecy from my grave with Spellbook of Life and go for another High Priestess from the deck. Oh, but I run into Bottomless Trap Hole. So with that, I use Spellbook of Fate to turn my High Priestess face down so it's no longer targeted by Fiendish Chain. I'm going to flip it face up and use its effect. And since it can go toe-to-toe with Leviathan, I think I want to use its effect on Leviathan. But my opponent's thinking, okay, so I don't get a chance to use its effect. High Priestess Prophecy is returned to my hand, but I still have Justice and an Eternity in hand. Eternity gets me Spellbook of Power. Spellbook of Power pumps up Justice 2,600 over 2,500. I get a search, I take out his Leviathan, and he's down to 2 cards in hand. The best thing to go in this case would be Spellbook of Secrets. Justice effect, definitely going for High Priestess and a Spellbook of the Master. So I'm holding Monster Reborn in hand, so I definitely want to send a Spellbook of a High Priestess of Prophecy to grave in order to Monster Reborn it later in case I don't draw a third Spellbook. 6 cards in hand, including a Battle Fader. My opponent is 3 cards in hand. I'm in a highly advantageous position. I'm only down 2,000 life points from an attack with Leviathan Dragon over my Spellbook Magician, so I'm in a good spot right now. I don't want to take another 2,000 points of damage just in case my opponent manages to swarm me, so at this point I will special summon Battle Fader. And my opponent goes into Windup Zen Mains. I draw a Apprentice Magician. Pretty crappy draw. I only play one Spellbook of Fate, so I know I want to search that out. And I decide to return it with Tower, and I top into a Duality. Not what I need right now. Duality is more for setting up plays, but it's all good. So I go for Spellbook of Fate in order to be able to banish the Wind Up Zen mains. Monster Reborn, my High Priestess. And I'm debating whether or not to use Fate. I actually probably should have used Spellbook of the Master before doing this, but it's okay. Only because I'm still in a pretty good position right now. Set Apprentice Magician. Yeah, it was definitely a misplay where I did not use Spellbook of Master before I used Spellbook of Fate. I actually could have had a Spellbook of Wisdom in hand just in case I needed to protect any of my spellcasters. My opponent top decks into a Pot of Avarice, which is one of the few things that could have helped them right now. But I'm still in a very good position. He has 4 cards to my 8, and although Battle Fader doesn't really do anything now except for dodge, helps block an attack. Although I could use it with an Effect Veiler if I had been playing it for a Synchro Summon, either into a 5, 6, or 2. Because Spellbook of Life gives that level boost, which gives me a huge access to Synchro monsters with Effect Veiler. So my opponent goes into Summon a Monk, discards a Book of Moon to special summon a Shark overlay for my stroke, and plays Soul Taker. I'm surprised my opponent wasn't more aggressive with the My Stroke, using it to attack. Anyways, I draw into Magical Dimension. Tower gets me a Spellbook of Eternity. Magical Dimension is a highly underrated card in the Spellbook deck, because you lose a monster and then you special summon from the hand, and then you get to destroy a monster. That's really good, but the plays are best made only when you have a High Priestess in hand and you have a low level Spellbook monster or a low level spellcaster that you don't need. So I win this game, and now it's time to decide. Against windups, I definitely want to go into a much more trap heavy and include Effect Veilers. I'm going to drop one of the powers, drop a Battle Fader, and drop the Reaper of Prophecy and Dualities. Also decide to drop one Spellbook of Wisdom because I included more traps that will hopefully help me against my opponent's spells and traps. But this game, my opponent is going first, so they most likely could shock lock me. Oh, okay, good. It's just a card-D, right? Well, that you could say that, but that's actually a really good open for windups especially. So my opponent, I wonder if my opponent sided in the card-D or if that was already there. But only one trap, so it's not so bad. Normal summon Temperance. I decide to use power, and I don't want to attack directly. I used power over wisdom only because I wanted to save my Spellbook of Wisdom just in case I needed to save my High Priestess from a trap card, and there you go. So I ended up giving up a lot more in this exchange, but I have a 2500 beater on the field that can pop at least one more card since my Spellbook of Wisdom is engraved. My opponent spaces my Bottomless. Double Factory. Oh god. This is terrible. Nothing I can do against Double Factory. Not a single thing can be done against Double Factory. So normal summon Rats, special summon Wind Up Shark with its effect. Grab 2 sharks with Double Factory. I hate Double Factory. So he goes into The Invoker. Invoker special summons something from the deck, and then he can special summon 2 sharks from his hand. So he's definitely going for... Well, I'm not sure what he's gonna go for, actually. Because there's just so much that he can go for right now. So he's definitely going for the level 5. And... take 100 and 1600. I'm in a terrible position right now. 3 cards to way too many cards over there. So I definitely need to search. I need to thin out my deck and oh, that sucks. My opponent has Mind Crush for me, so Spellbook of Secrets is gone. I can't use anything. This is pretty much gonna be game. I have Battle Fader just to hold on for one more turn. Maybe I'll top deck another Spellbook of Secrets and be able to special summon my High Priestess from grave. But that double factory is an abomination at this point. Windups with double factory is just way too painful. There's probably no way I can get an advantage at this point. Only because I didn't open with a lot of back row, so I'm definitely gonna get hurt quite a bit here. Oh, and of course he can use Invoker's effect again. Invoker. And my opponent's playing the Warrior, which actually I don't think is a good idea, but it does let him special summon another level 5. Thank goodness Volcasaurus is not out yet. That is a devastating rank 5 that I never want to run into. But this is going to be tough right now. What will I do? What am I going to draw into? So my opponent is really taking their sweet time. Maestro. Normal summon rat. That's the rat that they searched for. Going to another rank 3. Oh, Giga Brilliant. Giga Brilliant is such a good rank 3, especially in windups when you swarm so much. Way too devastating. I have to use Battle Fader or else I lose immediately. And I lose anyways. Top deck Solemn Judgment. So game 2 goes to my opponent. I had game 1. Definitely wondering if I should side in or out anything. That top deck Solemn Judgment really kind of painted my balls. Yeah, you know what? I decide not to side. And I think my deck is good enough, especially if it gets to go first. So, that double factory open definitely hurt. Now hopefully I can draw Priestess to hand and open Spellbook of Secrets. That's always wonderful. Oh, boom. There we go. 3 Spellbooks. Spellbook Magician Prophecy and Spellbook of Secrets in hand with a High Priestess. Just amazing. I don't want to play it too safe with the Princess Magician, only because I want to go for my tower, which I know cannot be stopped by my opponent. And I have Spellbook Star Hall, so that'll power up my monsters even more. I want to make sure I get the High Priestess out ahead of time. That way, if it goes to grave or whatever, I can still get it back. But if I hold on to it too long, then there's a huge potential that I may not be able to special summon it later because I may not have enough spellbooks in hand. So definitely going for the Fate just to remove any problems, or stop my opponent's combos, or put my Spellbook Magician of Prophecy face down when my opponent attacks into it and get another spellbook to hand. It all depends on what the situation is and what I feel I need. Card D. Yep, I'm definitely gonna let the summon go. I don't mind if my opponent uses its effect, because even though they get the advantage, I have Tower and a High Priestess out already, so that also gives me a very useful advantage. So 3 spellbooks in hand. My opponent has a Mind Crush, calling it a little premature because Spellbook of Power doesn't do anything in this situation right now. So definitely turning my Spellbook of Prophecy face down, and then I'm gonna flip summon it and search for Spellbook of Eternity so I can access that Spellbook of Secrets. But my opponent is saying hold on my flip summon. So what could you possibly have? A Solemn Warning? Solemn Warning. Fiendish Chain. Oh, that hurt. So the reason I didn't use Priestess effect is because I wanted to be able to banish 2 to put my Spellbook Magician of Prophecy face down. But in retrospect, I probably should have used High Priestess effect before I flip summoned my Spellbook Magician. But then again, that would mean that my opponent would have Fiendish changed my High Priestess instead, and I don't think I would have been able to have an answer to that, other than going into Spellbook of Eternity into Secrets and then get another Fate or Spellbook of Wisdom. But yeah, no, I'm still in a good position. I hit my opponent for 2900 life with High Priestess powered up by Star Hall. My opponent doesn't seem to have much of a good hand. Oh, okay, Factory with Wind Up Rabbit. That's actually pretty decent. Lets you get the setup going. But my opponent is still really low in life points. So if he doesn't have much for sets, I'll be just fine. So Tower effect. Send the Spellbook of Fate back. Draw a card. Not what I wanted. I could have used the 3rd spellbook, but it's all good. Now is the tough choice. I don't know what the face down is. I don't know if I want to risk it. Yeah, I need to take out that Factory. And I have a 2nd Spellbook of Life in hand already, so it's okay. I don't have any more spellbooks engraved, which means my tower doesn't do anything right now, which is too bad. But I'm attacking directly and hopefully take out another chunk of my opponent's life points. Got it. So now I want my face down Apprentice Magician to be attacked in order to, get some use out of my deck with the Spellbook Magician Prophecy and the Searching. The difficulty now is my opponent has 5 cards in hand, Wind Up Rabbit on the field, and a face down spell or trap that might do something. Although it definitely doesn't stop attacks, so it can't be a compulse. Could be a bottomless. But yeah, I'm definitely putting my opponent in a tough situation. Although they're not in the worst situation possible. I could be doing better. My opponent has, let's see, 7 cards to my 7 cards. Ooh, normal summon rat, special summon shark. Shark level 3, interesting. Alright, so he's definitely going to make an invoker play. Especially since rat can just special summon shark from the grave. Although I think it would have been better if he, oh no, that's why. He special summoned Wind Up Warrior, so shark is good for him. Lets him go into a level 5. What's he gonna go for? Well, if he goes for Tiras and destroy my High Priestess and top one of my cards. Oh, really? So my opponent decides to turn Rat into a level 4 with Wind Up Warrior's effect. And go into Shockmaster. That actually was probably my opponent's worst play. He did manage to Book of Moon my High Priestess to get rid of it, and he stopped my spells, but that actually doesn't matter right now. Tyrus would have given him so much more advantage. If I hadn't had the Apprentice Magician set, then the shock play would have been a lot better. Only the reason I say that is because I have one spellbook in hand. Apprentice lets me go into the spellbook Magician of Prophecy, which is going to let me search for another spell, and then I just need to stall out and get a third spell to my hand, and I can special summon High Priestess. On top of that, or I draw into my third spellbook right now. So I drew into my third spellbook. I'm definitely searching for Spellbook of Secrets. I'm gonna special summon my High Priestess and be in a very good position once again. So yeah, High Priestess effect, and 2900 over 19 is 1300, and my Spellbook Magician Prophecy has 900. Good game. 900 plus 1300 is 2200. Wow, that was a great draw into a third spellbook, so I can special summon Prophecy. Nice. So that's game 3. GG.